Tonight, our whole team is assembled, meaning the fat man's voice is gonna be really sore tomorrow. Also tonight, one of these things is not a contender. One of these things doesn't belong. Can you tell which thing will never be government? Before I end this song, yeah. And also tonight, it's election eve. Not quite as sexy as a New Year's Eve party, and maybe not as long as Christmas Eve Mass, but hopefully by the end credits we'll know who will be Canada's next minority government. You probably clicked this looking for a bear crapping in the woods, but instead you've landed on the Colbert Report Election 44 special, the re-electioning. Nation, it's election day and the polls will be closing shortly, so if you didn't do the mail-in ballot or the advance polls and you live out west because everything else is already closed, then you've only got a few minutes before your vote doesn't count. And when I say or your vote doesn't count, I don't mean you didn't make a choice that you'll have to accept responsibility for and live with, even if you didn't cast a ballot. Because if you didn't vote because you were disappointed that Justin, hoping to end repeated and pointless opposition fishing expeditions that have been counterproductive to the whole fight a pandemic thingy for over a year, triggered an unnecessary election, or you didn't vote because you fell for all the opposition propaganda incessantly complaining that the guy who kept the entire nation afloat during a 20-month-long pandemic was just in it for himself, or you didn't vote because you actually believed Jagmeet's lie that he was different and somehow represented a kinder, gentler politics, despite him alone cutting off Justin more often in the English language debate than O'Toole and Blanchette did combined in both French language debates, and you bought Jagmeet's lie about Trudeau just paying lip service on the Indigenous water advisories, despite the feds resolving 109 of the 159 just since 2015. Well, since 90% of the ridings in this election will have more registered voters who didn't vote than those who selected the winner of those seats, by staying home, you're saying it's okay that 38% of those few registered voters that got off their arses and showed up get to decide 100% of what's going to happen these next 2 years. And yet somehow, even by not voting, you, more than anyone else, have determined the results tonight. And because a majority government isn't possible this run, again, because of you, we'll be having another election in just a bit more than a year. Good job! Nation, joining me tonight is our panel of experts and watchers, staff and guests tasked with following the various campaigns and summarizing Election 44, the Americanization of Canadian politics. First off, let's check in with our remote correspondent, Marty Mole, reporting live from Western Canada. Marty, how's it going out there?
Bear?
Marty?
Bear, can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead, Marty. We hear you fine.
Hey, I'm just going to continue and hope the feed is making it through this inferno. Despite numerous swings through the area, the mood out here remains pessimistically dismissive of everything Justin has to say.
Marty, is it safe for you to be where you are?
And while the reception for Justin isn't normally warm out here, this time it just seems to be more heat than his campaign could handle.
Can he hear me? Marty, those flames seem awfully close to you.
Wah!
Marty! Okay, we'll check back with him later. I'm sure he's fine. We'll be right back. Nation, as I've said, we've got experts and watchers, the second of which is my producer and host of Later with Jimmy Ferguson. Of course, there's a world of difference between Aaron O'Toole and Mr. Potato Head.
There is?
Aye, one is a gormless creature changing himself to whatever suits the moment.
And the other one's Mr. Potato Head.
Yeah, that's right. Nation, Jimmy Ferguson. Okay, it's weird being on this side of the desk. So Jimmy, you've been following the Conservative campaign. How's it going for Aaron O'Toole? Oh, it beats me. I keep asking Conservative supporters why they support him. Every time they give me an answer, I show them a clip of Aaron O'Toole flip-flopping on that exact point. But they're sticking with Flea Biscuit there, that's for certain. Well, they should have a reason though, right? I mean, at the very least, he keeps telling them what they want to hear. Aye, and as we've long said, that's the problem with populist parties. They don't lead. They follow where they think the crowd is going, hoping to appear in front. If the polls had said Canadians hated the elderly, you would have seen Stephen Harper put his parents on an ice floe the next morning. But they're not even consistent on that. Conservatives created the consumption model that Trudeau's carbon tax uses, so it should have been an easy sell for Justin. But just because the Liberals have put their name on it, Conservatives disavowed the idea like it was a red-headed stepchild. For nearly this whole pandemic, the Liberal government of Justin Trudeau has delivered on every measure that 70 to 80% of Canadians have said they wanted. And consistently, approval of what Justin has done has been in the range of 70%, lockstep with what people want. So clearly the Liberals are better at gauging what the average Canadian wants than the Conservatives are. Then explain how Aaron O'Toole's Conservatives qualify as a populist party. Well, for one, they don't have positions on things. They have them against things. They don't try to get people to buy into plans like affordable healthcare, a green action plan, a carbon plan, or any other type of plan. They say they have a plan, but they never give specifics, so you can't actually hold them to anything. And when the PBO did the costing on their platform, what they wrote and what it means came out completely different. So instead of leading, they pick away at anyone else's plan. Increasingly, the only consistent thing a Conservative stands for is getting rid of the Liberals. But I'm Not Trudeau isn't a platform, it's a cry for help. Aye, and this is the problem. The big money base wants Conservative tax cuts. They donate about $8 million each quarter, hoping to get them into power so they can deliver, and often it's through illegal means. This is that stunt where rich donors can give up to $200 per riding without being recorded doing so, and therefore donate a total of, like $61,500 above the formal donation limit by giving to every riding. Aye, but that can't be happening that much, right? Oh, it's happening way more than anyone would care to think. And then the local ridings transfer that money to the federal party, which then funnels the funds where they need to. So donors in Alberta, where Conservatives can run a gopher and win, donate thousands anonymously that party uses, say, in Sudbury, Cambridge, Mississauga, wherever they think extra advertising will win seats, that's where they put the dough. But the majority of Canadians aren't in line with what Conservative donors want. Exactly. And all through this election, Aaron O'Toole has had to walk the tightrope between satisfying his base or getting votes from the rest of Canada. So when the cracks show between the two, it doesn't take much for his opponents to find them, highlight them, and gain ground on them because of them. Okay, but if Conservatives don't represent the average Canadian, or even the majority of Canadians, why are they even in the running to form the next government? Vote splitting. When all you have is division, you divide. O'Toole and his lot have been trying to divide the average Canadian from the Liberals for decades. Divide them on feminism, racism, the economy, individual rights, the environment, gay rights, national unity, all of it. For decades, and they never attack the NDP, who is attacking the Liberals from the left. They do this by fishing for the occasional gaffe, misstep, or contradiction, and then making a big old ballyhoo about it, even though anyone stopping to pay attention to what's going on for even half a minute and looking at the Liberal voting record can see the Liberals put their money and their votes where their mouth is. Well, the Cons and NDP just put their foot in it. I mean, it takes some cojones to try and split the left on those things when your party has already rejected each and every one of them. But if they don't convince enough Liberal voters that the NDP is a better choice, they canna win. Okay, explain again what you mean when you say the Conservatives want to get Liberals to vote NDP. Conservatives hate socialism, right? Well, they say so. But have you ever heard O'Toole attack Jagmeet Singh, the actual socialist running? No, of course not. They attack Trudeau for being the lefty socialist communist bastard child of Fidel Castro, and the NDP attacks Trudeau for being in pocket with gun owners, corporate polluters, and the rich. But the only gun controls have come from the Liberals. The only wealth taxes have come from the Liberals. The only environmental action that gets a pass from experts and has any hope of working has come from the Liberals. But what about pipelines? Trudeau's bought them and he's committed to building them. Aye, and why is that then? Well, he says that until Alberta transitions to green tech, we need to keep their economy going. Sure, but the reality is Justin had to buy that pipeline because Stephen Harper signed a 31-year-long secret FIPA deal with China. A deal that would let China sue us, uncontested, for billions if we don't deliver our primary resources like oil and gas to Chinese markets. Erin O'Toole, Michelle Rempel, Pierre Poilievre, Andrew Scheer were part of Harper's government. They were ministers and such when he gave our sovereignty away. They were on board when Stephen Harper handed Canadian sovereignty over to the Chinese. Why in the world would they do that? Because of Alberta. They knew any serious environmental action was going to have to deal with dirty Albertan oil. But by signing FIPA, they boxed the Liberals in, so that even if the Liberals formed government, which they did, they'd look bad getting their hands dirty with oil, or look bad losing billions, nay even trillions to China through uncontested trade rulings. It was a win-win for Alberta and the Conservative Party, and a poison pill for what they consider the biggest threat to Canada. China? No, ya big-headed bolt. The Liberal Party of Canada! Weren't you listening? But weren't they worried about the damage FIPA would do to Canada? Since when have Conservatives ever actually cared about Canada? They're the Alberta First Party. They always have been, from the moment they first ran as Reform, through their Canadian Alliance years, and all the way up to their hostile takeover of the Conservative label. They're Chino. Conservatives in name only, a Republican North Party of soulless Trump-loving baby eaters. You really don't like them, do you? They tied acorns to my tail and laughed as I spun like a top for weeks, the mad bastards! We'll be right back. Marty!
Oh, Bear, can you hear me?
Thank goodness you're okay. We were so worried when that tree fell on you.
Oh, that was nothing. The sweater got a bit singed, but otherwise...
Where are you now?
Red Deer, the epicenter of the new Maverick Party.
I thought you were covering the Trudeau campaign.
I am.
Well, be careful. They'll lynch people in Alberta just for mentioning Justin.
Oh, pish posh. Albertans aren't a hive mind, and I'm here in Red Deer to prove that they're faring much better here than we've been led to believe.
Who is, the Maverick Party?
No, Trudeau's Liberals. Ah!
Oh, Marty! Okay, we'll check back with him later. I'm sure he's fine. We'll be right back. Hi, Duza Bear here. Catch me daily with the Duza Bear Digest, a short cross-platform riff of what interests me every day. On Instagram, @DuzaBear, on Twitter, @Duza_Bear, on Facebook, and YouTube. Not a sponsor. No, I think we can actually sponsor this one. That one we can sponsor. Nation, only two parties have ever formed government in Canada, making our two-party system a longer-lasting yin and yang of power than even the Democrat and Republican rivalry that those skinny bacon lovers to our south have had. And while some would argue we are a multi-party state, the fact is, we have fewer political parties in Canada than America does. We just have more parties with seats in the House of Commons. But make no mistake, the Reform Party's hostile takeover of the Conservative brand in 2003 was all about getting elected as one of the two parties in our system, proven by the fact they didn't change their name back to Reform after Harper formed his first government. And since Conservative wins are all about splitting the left vote, if you've stuck it out this far, then you'll want to hear from our NDP correspondent, and that's where our intern Ritchie comes in. Hey Ritchie, how's it going?
Yo, Bell, it's Lemon Dead!
Is that good or bad?
That's a good one, Bell. Bad or good.
Okay, so Ritchie, you've been following NDP leader Jagmeet Singh this election. What can you tell us about his campaign?
Tickety-tock, yo. Do you like me now? Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Tickety-tock,
so Ritchie, TikTok, huh?
Yeah, Bell. Weren't you listening? Ticky-tock, mofo!
Ritchie!
It's the vernacular, Bear. Quit being such a hubbard.
Yeah, but what about his platform?
Whose platform?
Jagmeet Singh's. The guy we asked you to follow.
He's wearing platforms? Well, that would explain why he's so frackin' tall.
No, Ritchie, his political platform.
Ugh. Bear, politics is so lame. No one likes him for that, blah, blah, blah. We like him for his tickety-talk dances and record mimes, yo.
Seriously?
You know?
Richie, you can't vote for someone if you don't agree with their political platform, and you can't do that if you don't know what it is.
Ugh, voting, lame. No, Bear, we are not voting. We are dancing.
Yeah, but Jagme won't ever be prime minister and give you universal basic income if you and millions of other youths don't vote for him.
What? No free monies?
Yeah, well, if Jagme doesn't form government, then he's about as useful as,
Sweet, he's got
as,
another funny TikTok video posted on this platform. Old man dancing.
Yeah, about as useful as that. Well, Richie, our NDP correspondent, everyone. Tick-tocking away. We'll be right back.
Bear!
Marty!
Bear, can you hear me?
Well, thank goodness you're okay. We were so worried when those rocks hit you.
Yeah, it's getting a bit intense out here.
So where are you now?
Kitchener General Hospital.
Did you go there because of the COVIDiot protests?
Sort of. I needed stitches when a bunch of PPC idiots saw the microphone and camera and told me to go back where I came from, and then called me fake news.
You needed stitches from that?
One of them made their point rather forcefully with a Buick.
Then why are you covering hospital protests?
I'm not covering this. I've had enough of these COVIDiots. I'm trying to get into the hospital for treatment and they're blocking me.
That's terrible.
I'm doing better than that heart attack victim in the ambulance behind me there.
What is going on out there? Marty! Oh. That mole can't catch a break. Okay, we'll check back with him later, I hope. I'm sure he's fine. We'll be right back. Nation, the Colbert Report staffers have been tracking each poll as it closes, and that sound means we're ready to call the election. Reporting from Tabulation Central in the corner here is our tabulation expert, Jeffrey Peterson. What's the word, Jeff?
Bird.
Seriously? It's a little late for dad jokes, don't you think?
But that's not what you called.
Right. But the music cue said we've got a winner, so who is it?
No, the music cue means we have a result. Ain't no one a winner tonight.
Fine, point made. Will you just tell us now who will be Canada's next minority government?
PCTV News is ready to call the election for Justin Trudeau.
Oh, that's no surprise.
The Liberal Party will remain Canada's government. Although it's a greatly weakened minority.
Yeah, so that really was a bad idea.
And Aaron O'Toole's Conservatives will return as the official opposition,
Oof.
picking up about a dozen or so seats.
Really?
How the hell should I know? This race is still too close to call.
But didn't we have that the last time? And the time before that? And before that? And before that too?
Not on this scale. I mean, we've got ridings all over the place where first and second place is less than 1,000 votes apart.
Okay, so does that mean the NDP will take them?
A couple, maybe, but not many. I doubt the NDP will break 40 seats at the end of the night.
And how many does Jagmeet need to form government?
Around 120.
Total?
No, more than what he's getting. The NDP might not even take third place tonight. Again.
Well then, that was a serious exaggeration of his potential then, wasn't it? Well, that's gotta be a disappointment for his supporters.
Old man dancing. Tickety tock, baby.
Or not. Nation, joining me now with the post-election wrap-up is PC PAC's Puppets and Politics host, Vassy Vermicelli. Hi, Vassy.
Why aren't I hosting this? I'm the politics puppet.
I don't know, they gave me a script and told me where to sit.
I want to speak to the manager.
The what?
I demand respect around here.
Vassy, this is your moment to show the viewers you're a serious journalist. Don't blow it.
Oh, how dare you talk to me like that? I don't need you telling me how to do my job.
Vassy, we're live. Do your summary, please.
It's All a scam.
Are you saying the election is a scam?
Of course not. This isn't America. Only a brain-numb half-wit would even suggest this election was rigged.
Then what are you talking about?
I'm the political puppet. Why are you in my chair?
Okay, first off, this is the Colbert Report. It's political too. Secondly, actually come to think of it, so is the Duza Bear Digest, your daily news summary on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok.
Huh? Tickety tock, tickety tock.
Shut up, Ritchie.
I'm the political puppet.
Yeah, okay. Ugh.
Well, Meow, would you like to know what I think, Meow?
Gee, sure, if it'll wrap this up. Awesome.
Canadians hate elections, Meow. You hate voting, Meow. You're mad at Justin for calling this Meow election in the first place, Meow. Even though he could barely keep the petty idiots, Meow, and the opposition, Meow, at bay with only a minority, Meow, government.
And?
So, Meow, rather than give the government, Meow, that's done what the overwhelming majority, Meow, of you wanted, Meow, throughout this entire, Meow, pandemic, Meow, you've, Meow, further kneecapped him, Meow, and pretty much guaranteed, Meow, we'll be doing this stupid thing again, Meow, in 12 to 18, Meow, months. Is that, Meow, enough of a Meow bow for you, Bear?
Yep. That about does it.
Ugh.
We'll be right back. Well, nation, that's all for this Colbert Report, election report, special report. This has been a very divisive campaign. But before we get back to all the partisan nonsense that's poisoning our very democracy, I wanted to share this one ray of hope with you. It's something the 5-party leaders did just before the final debate ahead of this election.
We're all in this together.
We've come so far in the fight against COVID, it's time to finish this pandemic for good. So get vaccinated. If you know someone who hasn't, talk to them. For our kids, for our communities, for our economy. It's how we get forward together.
Vaccines are safe and effective for use. Vaccines are the best way for you to protect yourself, your family, and your community. So get vaccinated. Let's fight COVID-19 together.
Pour vous protéger vous-même, pour protéger les plus fragiles d'entre nous, pour protéger l'ensemble de la population, le meilleur moyen connu demeure le vaccin. S'il vous plaît, soyez responsables, soyez solidaires, faites-vous vacciner. Merci.
We all agree getting vaccinated is the way forward. We're all in agreement this is not a partisan issue, so please get vaccinated.
We're united, and it's time to get the shot. Vaccines save lives, they're how we're going to beat COVID, and it's time for everyone to do it. Get the shot.
Get the shot.
There are probably hundreds of issues these 5 idiots could agree on. But donors don't give money for civility anymore, so enjoy this moment of zen and cooperation while you can, because no doubt before morning they'll be gutter sniping at each other all over again. And to those of you who really believe that the NDP is the better choice, I've got a word of advice. Get off your asses now, because no one wins if they haven't done the hard work before the competition begins. Be that Olympics or elections. Don't start talking about forming government after the writ is dropped. The other parties don't. Build the support you need before the campaign even begins, or get used to 3rd place. So good night, take care, stay safe, and watch out for wildlife on the roads.
You people are so Meow stupid, you drive me Meow crazy, Meow. Seriously, I'm learn more interesting Meow things from licking my Meow butthole.